Vince McMahon is going to be featured in a Netflix documentary. It comes out on September 25th, and it's all about kind of like the lifetimes and controversies surrounding one of the most prominent figures ever in the history of professional wrestling, a guy who revolutionized the sport. And Ted, you and I were talking about it here before we hit record. What do you think about you and I maybe going back watching some of these episodes and covering them on the show?
Yeah, that would be a bad idea. Yeah.
I think it could be fun, and as somebody who's gotten to know Vince McMahon on a personal level over the years, Ted, what do you expect to see in this show? Do you have a high hope that it's going to be a positive story, or do you think it might start to spin negative?
Well, I'm not really sure. I mean, because I will forever be grateful to Vince McMahon because if it hadn't have been for Vince, and it's kind of like I've told a lot of people they said like, well, whose idea was it for the $1 Million Man? And I said it was Vince McMahon's personal idea, and he kind of described it to me. And he says, we haven't given you a name yet. And I said, it sounds like $1 Million Man to me. And he goes, the $1 Million Man it is.
How about that?
The $1 Million Man. And when I first met him, he was simply the ring announcer for his dad. I had, well, I don't think anybody had any idea, where it would go, but, it's kind of like, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I said, I have got to be grateful to Vince McMahon for the greatest years of my wrestling career. I'm grateful to the guy. And I know there's some controversy out there, and I don't want to have an opinion. I mean, because I really don't know. I really don't know anything about Vince's personal life. And I just know that he had to step down as the head guy, and I'm not even sure who's running the ship now. Would it be
Triple H? But there's the TKO board that kind of really oversees everything.
Yeah. So.
Well, I think it's going to be a really fascinating watch. I'm really excited to cover it with you here on the show. Ted, before we do move on to our subject, I did want to ask you, though, so whenever people bring up the greatest heels in the history of wrestling, Hollywood Hogan always gets brought up. The $1 Million Man always gets brought up. But now, ever since he did decide to set foot in the ring, Vince McMahon always gets brought up. Ted, who's a better heel, yourself or Vince McMahon?
Okay, when it comes to professional wrestling and the drama that everybody sees on TV, me.
Yep.
But if you take it to the real world, Vince McMahon is hands down the greatest heel of all time.
That was the answer I was hoping for. You did not disappoint. Oh, man. Good stuff. Well, I'm excited to watch back that series. September 25th on Netflix, folks. Go ahead and watch it back with us, and we will be covering it here on the show, so we'll look forward to that.